It was like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I said, let's get out of here. And I no sooner said that, and we hear Moose grunting, and he's close, like he's within 300-400 yards of us, and he's coming strong. And again, I would have shot him 10 times before Bruce pulled the string on him.
Getting rough when I stop believing I'm not tough enough to be free. I just go on with you. That's when we know. That's when we go. When it's just us hunting.
2010 brought us to a new area, and being in the helicopter business, I know a lot of people in the business, and I know a lot of people that work for the M&R, all the pilots. I've worked with pretty well all of them that fly for the M&R, so there's some inside information that's available to me that wouldn't be available to some of the people, and I know the guys that do the moose surveys and that, and not to say that that's where the moose are come hunting season, but they give us some good pointers on where to go, and contacts on how to get maps and who to talk to, and it's really helpful, and they did help us out big time.
We're going to this spot, and we've had great reviews of this spot. Mind you, where we're going now, totally unknown to us, and the information we're going on is 10-year-old information. People that have been there haven't been there for like 10 years.
You look at the aerial photo maps and you look at topo maps, and they're showing you roads and that, but it's 10, 15 years ago, and some of these roads are choked right off. You don't know what you got till you get there.
So we're really anxious to go in there, and we have visions of grandeur. We really do. It's a hell of a long trip. It's 24 hours. We do 12 hours one day, 12 hours the next day, which means we're leaving at 4 o'clock in the morning because we have 6 hours of setting up camp, and we're racing against time. We don't want to do this in the middle of the night.
Getting antsy to get to the campsite, get it all set up and everything. Hopefully we could probably get 75% up and then finish off the remaining tomorrow, and then head out in the afternoon and scout around and get some tree stands out and maybe get some hunting in. I'm looking forward to the next couple of days.
Yeah, no wind. It's gonna be good.
Yeah.
Kind of exciting, a new area.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then probably get some good potential fishing areas. I don't have to show Rick how to fish again, probably.
Yeah, I appreciate the lesson. Thanks, Gary. You can show me how to do the fish. I'll show you how to do the moose.
Okay.
It was so close to the other area where we went that we knew the terrain was going to be the same. It's jack pine and hills, same as the other territory. We were hopeful that there was enough access for us, because that's typically the worst thing for us, is getting into an area that we haven't got the roads to travel, because we do hunt vast areas.
So we finally get up there, and as we're driving down, we have about 7 different spots, potential campsites that we are going to check out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are full. We don't know if they're fishermen, we don't know if they're hunters. We do know it's really taking the wind out of our sails. We got one last spot to find. We're 125 kilometers off the highway. We got to turn off this gravel road down this little trail, another 4 miles, to check out to see if we can use this camp. And if there's somebody there, we really don't know what we're going to do. Anyhow, as luck would have it, it was empty.
Well, slowly but surely we're getting there. Starting to look like a campsite. Still got a pile of junk piled up out here. As you can see, the tents are starting to take shape. Carl's in there wiring the lights, doing the final touches on the wood stove at that end, and we'll put the next wood stove in. She's tarped, we can start moving in. Starting to look like home.
So we went in there and we started setting up our camp, and that brings us right into opening morning, which typically we don't hunt. Everyone else has gone out hunting, we're still setting up our camp. We have to scout the area up, so there's no reason to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We take our time on the Saturday and then we go out.
What do you got to say for yourself, Gary?
Not too much right now.
Other than the fact that you forgot to set the alarm and it totally ruined our moose hunt.
Yeah, I'll take all responsibility for that. Of course, I'm only just part-time help here, so take all the responsibility. But we're going back out to scout and see if we can find any other signs.
I seen a narrow bridge sign yesterday.
An arrow bridge?
Narrow bridge.
Oh yeah?
That was a good sign.
Saturday afternoon, I believe we all had either a spot or a tree stand hung. We were ready to hunt.
We basically, like, not that I want to brag, but we seem to have a knack for finding good moose area and fairly quickly, and we've been really successful at it. And we seem to know what we're looking for, and as soon as we saw the spot, we thought, geez, this is a great spot.
Yeah, sometimes you can hunt for 10 days and not have this happen, but this particular year, we didn't answer the first night. We had to leave, it was getting dark. Next morning, he answered and came right in.
It was like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I said, let's get out of here. And I no sooner said that, and here we hear moose grunting, and he's close, like he's within 300-400 yards of us, and he's coming strong. It's probably some of the best footage we've got on a moose. Like he's in and out of the trees. He's there a half an hour probably before we get an opportunity to shoot him. And again, I would have shot him 10 times before Bruce pulled the string on him.
I know Carl can get a little impatient. He's always there, shoot, 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 you know, and I like to wait and get a little more film footage, try and sneak him in. Unless there's an opportunity, he's gonna spook. If he's gonna circle downwind to us and smell us and then bolt, you know, you gotta move fast and take the shot opportunity as soon as you can. Some of them are real spooky and jittery and they'll bolt on you. So you gotta watch, look at their body language and try and read them. And the ones you think you can pull in close, well, why not try and get them in closer? That's half the fun of it, is bringing them in close. But in a case like that, he didn't suspect anything. He thought there was a bull there or a cow. He was totally convinced, and he was just gonna do nothing but come closer and closer and closer. In this case, yeah, I think we try to remember how we enticed him in the last little bit, just with some little bull grunting. And often that'll bring him right in close. And he was 4 or 5 yards away when he got shot.
"8:45, I get a call on the radio, and there's a moose down." It was that quick. It was like, holy smokes. We had 2 tags that year, and we had them with us for the first week, but we told Kevin and Serge, who were pulling in on Thursday, we're not gonna fill the second tag until you guys come up, because it's just too far to drive to find out your hunt's already over.
Well, folks, thanks for watching the first complete season of Just Us Hunting. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we enjoyed making it. And I'm sure you know by now, our trophies are measured in memories, not inches. Anyhow, hunting season's just around the corner. It's coming up faster than you realize. You'll be throwing up tree stands sooner than you think. And I want you to promise me one thing. When you're in that stand, make sure you're harnessed off. There's enough harnesses on the market now that'll keep you safe. They all do the same thing, and that saves your life. And that is your final Just Us Hunting tip of the week. Brewster,
Yes, sir.
what are you doing?
What am I doing? What does it look
Yeah, and
like
why?
Why? They're cutting the back straps off.
Okay.
How's
Who's-
their taste?
Who's moose?
It's all of our moves.
All of our moose. How far did it run?
60 yards, I guess.
Yeah?
Went up the hill. We watched it go up the hill, stand there, and just fell over like a sack of potatoes.
All within sight.
Yep. Yeah, I watched the whole thing. Yeah.
It's the typical workforce that you have to put forward to process that meat. So we got the camp prepared. We got the moose obviously quartered and brought back to camp. The following day, we got the meat processing line going. We cut and wrapped it. It was put in the freezers, and we had what we don't normally have: time to scout.
The hunting part of my hunt was over because I don't stay for the second week. So after that, it was cutting moose and driving around and relaxing. I guess I like to travel a little slower than the other guys. So if they go this way at 100 kilometers an hour, I go this way at 30 kilometers an hour.
So we scouted this area. It was a brand new area. We had absolutely no idea what to expect. And we put a lot of miles on. We did our homework.
We could have closed the deal maybe on a second moose, but we said we weren't going to shoot another one. Carl and I came upon a nice bull while we were out scouting, and we just left him be. Made a good mental note where he was. Found an area, trying to find a spot where the boys can set up there too.
We had some good spots set up, and we had spots set up for Serge and Kevin when they arrived. And Thursday, I believe, they pulled in like 11 o'clock at night.
During the course of the first week, someone will make a trip out till they get cell phone range, and they'll call and leave a message at the house, and they'll say, we're so many miles up this road, turn right, go 6 kilometers, turn left at the pine tree, look for flag and tape, and that's where we are. So when you're traveling in the dark, you don't see any of that kind of stuff, and eventually you find camp.
Kevin typically sleeps in the following morning, but I don't know if he did that. And I was hunting with Kevin that morning. Serge was hunting by himself. We were all ready. It was a nice morning. There was no wind. We were calling, expecting great things.
After about 10 minutes, I give a soft call because it's first thing early in the morning. Give a soft call. It's just getting light. And all of a sudden on the radio, moose down. So anyways, we're done.
Total hunting time in 2 weeks was probably less than 4 hours. So it was a great hunt, but it was a bad hunt. You'd like to have a little more time out there.
I'll be right back with my guide, Rick Marchand, on Just For Us Hunting.
Just for us hunting?
Just For Us Hunting. What is it called?
I'm Rick Marchand, and you're watching Just Me Standing.
I remember this one time before I had my hunting license. Dad used to take me out all the time to his hunting spots just to watch, and this one morning we went out, it was pitch black, and he just about clotheslines me, and we looked down and there's a skunk right in front of us. Something we still laugh about to this day, and it's something I'll never forget.
Are you there, Rick?
The radio crackles. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning. The next moose was down.
The morning it happened, we were calling, and it was only about half an hour into the calling that we heard this moose, and he was coming fast, and over the hill he came, and it was getting almost down to closing the deal, and Bruce says to me, the batteries are going dead on the camera, and I'm like, oh, you gotta be joking. So I had the camera bag on my tree, he's got the camera, so I'm rooting, trying to get him batteries, and got a battery on, and basically the camera shuts off, the camera turns on, and there's the moose. Like, it was right there. We just about missed it. But he come a lot faster than we thought, and some may think it wasn't a very ethical shot, but it was only 16 yards, and he was just at a steady walk and shooting 300 feet per second. It's not rocket science. In retrospect, I did shoot a little bit high, and he went probably 250 yards, but we did find him, and he was a dandy moose again. Not quite as nice as Bruce's rack size, but body size almost the same.
Right on. There, guys. Shot another nice bull.
Well, here he is after quite a tracking job. We shot him up there in those spruce trees. He's come about 250 yards. He couldn't have made it another 35 yards out of the swamp, but he's right in the middle of this thing. But we'll get him out. We got a cable and a winch here now, and see how good that really is.
There we go.
We're 6 inches further than we were. Once he gets laid out on the side, he'll skid easier.
We may get lucky, but it's just, it is, I think it's a large part of luck. How do you decide who goes where? We looked at the maps and Rick said, I'm gonna hunt behind the camp. We said, okay, well, we'll go north. It's like luck of the draw shooting the moose from year to year with Bruce videoing and me shooting, or I'm shooting and Bruce is videoing. It's what happens. That was it. Yeah, I felt bad for Kevin. Basically drive all that way up and had probably an hour or two hunting out of the whole week, but he never complains about it, at least not to me.
Got my first bow when I was 5 years old. It's a piece of maple with a string, and I shot sticks from it. I've taken moose, deer, bear, coyotes, turkey. I hunt it all. My off seasons are spent looking for antlers, deer trails. As soon as the snow's off the ground in the spring, I'm in there with my GPS, marking off trees for tree stands in the coming fall. And my dream hunt, I'd have to say, would be Africa for plains game. From the ground with my bow, spot and stock. I think that would be awesome. I'm Max Sturzen, and this is my profile.
The moose were done. We already had them cut up. You're not going to waste that time. We're out there and we're scouting around. The really nice thing that we've never been able to do before that is to sit down and have a bonfire in the evening. Because usually when we come back, you're making supper. By the time you have supper, you'll have a drink and then you go to bed. You're tired. You've put a long day in. But it was an enjoyable vacation. It was a really great holiday because we're now able to do things that typically we couldn't do.
So I says to Rick, I says, come on, take me fishing. So he says, all right. So the two cripples get into the canoe. And so anyways, I'm running the motor on the back, the trolling motor, and he takes me out fishing, and we're just trolling along. And bang, I get the first fish. I get a bite. Anyways, hey, I got the first fish. I got the first fish. And I get it up, and he says, oh, Kevin, just bring it up beside the boat here. He says, I'll get it for you. So I swing it around so he can grab it. He grabs it, takes it off the hook, throws it back in the water, and says, no witnesses. So anyways, but we finished the rest of the day catching some pickerel, and we had a nice feed of pickerel that night, but it was a good week.
We had a few issues, but it was at the end of the hunt. It was after the whole hunt. We were actually leaving. And prior to leaving, Serge went out one day. He was going for a bike ride. He was going to do some scouting. He comes back. He says, guys, we got a bit of an issue here. Well, what is it? The road's gone. And it was literally gone.
It was a good thing we had a bit of time because we needed it to fix up this washout. It was a serious washout on the road. You should have had an excavator to fix this thing. We had vertical banks 6 to 8 feet high. We had to shovel them down to ramp it all, and it was a lot of pickaxe work.
Well, we kind of scratched our head a little bit, but it was still early. We weren't leaving until Friday, and I think this was Wednesday. So we got a couple shovels out, started digging the road down. So we dug a ramp on both sides, got our trucks through it, seemed to work fine.
We kept fixing it up over the next few days just to make our journey out a little easier, because we were towing these big honking trailers. Lots of gear.
Kevin's trailer is, I think it's 18 feet. These things are fully loaded. There's a couple tons on these things. Carl's trailer is 22 or 25 feet long. And we got to pull all our stuff through there. Here comes the biggest of our trailers, but it does have a lot of ground clearance, so it should be a non-issue with this load. Shouldn't have any problems here with this one. I lied. Kevin's trailer isn't as high as Carl's, so as he was going through there, the electrical wiring got ripped off, the electric brakes got buggered up. So we had a little bit of work, or not we, Kevin, because he says I'm a little thick. So he was down there, he fixed up his wiring, he got his brakes working again, but it was a temporary fix. He had to do that 2 or 3 more times before we got to the highway.
There's rocks on the road and they just come up and just smash everything. I got 2 bin axles underneath that trailer right now.
We always plan to go back. You spent an awful lot of time, you invested a lot of money in this area to learn it. And the more you learn it, the more intimate you are. And next year when you come up, you know the moose are going to be here, there, there. You can now pinpoint that and refine it.
If you have videos of your hunts and would like to see them right here on this show, go to our website, justushunting.com, and email me directly. Who knows? Maybe one day you'd see your hunts right here on Just Us Hunting.
Well, I feel alone and I can't see why. And the cold wind's blowing from the northern sky. I dream of going hunting. When life's road starts getting rough, when I stop believing I'm not tough enough to be free, I just go hunting.